Hey guys, it's Sean from SazCube Entertainment. Hope you're having a great day. Still no snow in Canada, so that's a plus. Anyways, we're gonna have just a little talk, a little one-on-one here about getting the best 4K television you can get on the cheap, and just a couple of things that you should know before you get into it, because there are a few little snags that you might run into, and hopefully this video makes it so you don't have to have any of those snags and you have an awesome experience. So let's get on to it. Alright guys, so first tip is if you're buying a 4K television, the new ones, most of them have an ARC on it, which has out of 60 megahertz. That's what you want if you're having a 5.1 surround sound 4K system with a pass-through. If it has a ARC at 30, it still works, but you will not get, say, 4K video out of your Xbox One S, Xbox One X. It will dumb it down to 8 or 1080p. 1080p. So that's the first tip. Make sure that your ARC, you'll see it says ARC on one of the HDMI ports. On the box, it should label it too, that it has an ARC at 60 hertz. Get one at 60 hertz, not 30 hertz. Then you'll have absolutely zero problems with getting 4K video through your Xbox One S, your Blu-ray player, when you do it through a 5.1 surround sound. If you're doing it straight through the TV, not as big of a deal. But you'll eventually get 5.1 surround if you're having 4K, right? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? So the next step I got is with my Hisense. I had to do a firmware update. Most of the new televisions have Wi-Fi built in, Ethernet port. Make sure your TV has the latest firmware update. I know it sounds kind of silly, like, I'm thinking, I check it, I'm one of those people. A lot of people don't check this stuff. A lot of people don't know. So just make sure that your TV has the latest firmware update. Your 4K Blu-ray player has the latest firmware update. Because, if it doesn't, then you're going to be like, what's going on? I got a piece of junk. But you don't. True story, I bought a Sony Blu-ray player from one of those thrift shops. $5. No one wanted it. They claimed it didn't work right. I thought, heck, I'll give it a shot. It's probably just a firmware update problem. Plugged it in, updated it. It works perfect. So that's a lesson for people. Update the firmware. It'll probably solve a lot of your problems with these newer electronics. So that's a little tip there. And I'm out. This way. Here I go. Alright, another controversial tip. So the next tip is getting new HDMI cords, because HDMI has 1.4 standard, a 2.0 standard for 4K content at 30 hertz and 60 hertz. Then you have the new just released 2.1 standard that has 4K content at 120 hertz, and it supports all the way up to 10K video. Not that it exists, but it supports it. So, being said that, I do believe that at the very minimum, that there is a difference between a 1.4 HDMI cable and a 2.0. Because I've had problems with two different cables, older ones, when I was setting up 4K content, and I believe that these cables actually produce different images and push out different amounts of data. But I know there's a lot of people that might say that's BS. BS. I don't believe it. Hey, if you don't believe it, you don't believe it. Your cable's working fine. More power to you. But that was my personal experience. So that's another thing. You may want to invest in a better HDMI cable. You don't necessarily have to, but if you're finding you are having problems with the cable you have now, I recommend either switching it with, say, if you have an Xbox One S cable and you have an older cable, just swap them, see if it fixes the problem. If it does, then invest in the new cable. That's a good way to save money because you might not have to. So there you go. It's another tip. A great tip. And one more tip I have is for HDR. Some televisions, you have to turn HDR on. I know with the Hisense, it just automatically does it after I did the update. So the only thing I had to do is with the Xbox One S. You go into the settings. In the menu there's audio video settings. You bump that to UHD, ultra high definition, which is 4K content. And it'll give you a little check mark list, tell you if everything's good, if you got HDR, if you can do it with movies, games, blah, blah, blah. You see a bunch of green check marks, you're golden, right? See a couple X's, you want to check it out. One of the things, 3D doesn't work on mine, I know that. So, it's a red X, but it don't matter. For the most part, the Xbox One S has been a solid 4K player. I heard that standalone players are actually better, though. So it depends what you want to invest in. I personally want to invest in a video game console / 4K UHD player. So that was my personal decision. If you don't care about video gaming, you just want movies, you might want to actually invest in a standalone player because technically, for the most part, they are better. So those are my tips. If I think of any other tips, I might do another video. I'm so glad that you came by, checked it out. I hope you liked what I had to say. If not, I apologize. But if you did, please like me, subscribe. I'm going to put out more videos. I know I don't have tons of content yet, but I'm rolling it out. So you stick with me. You send me comments, tell me videos you'd like to see. I'll do them. If I can do them, I will do them. So have a good day, a good tomorrow, good night, good evening, good weekend, good Christmas. Have a good next year, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.